Thank you so much for the overwhelming just the comments, and you've all been so kind and encouraging about my ceiling fan redo. Again, I thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. I'm blessed beyond measure. And I just want to show you how to get
an ugly, outdated old fan that just doesn't fit in, and you can change it into something that you really appreciate and like. We sure love this one.
I hope to be doing some more tutorials because I've got so many projects coming up. I'm gonna paint my headboard to look like the fan blades, wood texture. And I want to do that whole colorway throughout my bedroom. I also have a dresser to paint like that. So I'll put up more videos, and today, stay tuned. I'll give you my product list and a couple of little techniques. Thanks. Stay tuned. We'll be doing a lot of things. Thanks.
All right, now here is the number one thing people wanted. Krylon Color Maxx acrylic latex in flat black for the shiny areas of the fan. First, you have to always lightly sand and of course clean everything up. And then I use 2 coats of this over every shiny part. And then with the fan blades, I have those base coated white. You can choose a chalk paint or any latex based or acrylic based paint. And then after you lightly sand and clean it up, just put that on your base coat. So you've got a white base coat. And then after that, we're going to do the mid-tone, which in this case I used a primitive color, chalky finish. And this is, you can use any mid-tone you'd like to. And you'll see, I have a video coming up where I show you how I just use a little water and a very little paint. For the darkest tone there, I just added a few streaks of this dark tone in just to add some interest and depth and some wood graining effects. Now once everything's really dry, I gave the fan blades 2 coats of polyacrylic, and I didn't do anything on the shiny metal areas painted black. And these are just a couple of pieces that I base coated at the same time as the fan blades. I have a lot of pieces in my house that I want to look like this aged wood, and this is the finished fan blade. I'll be doing a lot more videos on that in greater detail. And here's the before. It's the shiny areas. I lightly sanded, cleaned everything up, put the painter's tape around the ceiling, and then I just started painting with the Krylon Color Maxx with just up close of the first coat. Kind of sloppy, but ready to go. And here's the base coated white fan blades. Now starting the painting, we're using a chip brush, just a cheap old chip brush. And even though that looks like I'm putting a pretty dark paint on, remember on that cardboard piece right here, the fan blade is that white, that swatch of color. And on the left is the color I'm putting on, which is there in my hand, that primitive chalky paint. That one. That's what I'm putting on the white, and you see the difference. So it looks really dark going on compared to the white. And then with the chip brush, I just go along, and because there's a little bit of water in my brush, before I dip it into a little bit of paint, it kind of makes some streaks automatically on the board. And there I picked up the darkest color, and I'm only putting in 3 little streaks maybe on each fan blade of the darker color. Okay, let's get another blade down here, and here's me going over with the streaks and streaks that each one looks so different because you just don't know how the paint will land on there, and by going over it and over it, you find patterns that you'll like, And so I'm going over with that mid-tone, and I barely use the dark on these. There's only a couple of streaks on each one. Okay, and there it is with that first coat on, and I let that dry really, really well. And when I come back and put just some final touches of white on there, it just softens it all up. And these are the caged fixtures, and I've got a link coming up you can take a screenshot of. Get those from Amazon. And this is it, all put together and ready to go. It just is such a huge difference. It gives such a wow factor to make a change in your room like that. On some of those shows, the designer, that's the first thing they get rid of is that ceiling fan. But I'll tell you what, at my age, I need that air blowing all the time, day and night. And here's a screenshot for you. If you've made it this far, here's some of the instructions and some of the things I used, supplies and so on. If you think of it, go to YouTube and subscribe to Down Home Nesters. Thank you.